You're listening to Beezy Beez Sleep Stories, created for the restless, the curious, and those who find themselves wide awake when the world goes quiet. To listen to more stories like this one, please visit deepbearsleep.com. Tonight's story, The Still Place. Let's begin. Amara didn't believe in signs. She believed in schedules, grocery lists, and practical shoes. She was 56, retired from teaching English, and had learned that life rewarded the dependable, not the dreamers. Her husband had passed 3 years ago, and the house by the bay still smelled faintly of cedar and salt. She kept his fishing cap on the hook by the door, not for sentiment, but because removing it felt like rearranging gravity. But lately the world had started whispering. It began with a clock that stopped at 11:11, 4 ones that blinked at her each morning as though insisting on attention. Then came the gulls that perched, waiting in a row along her porch rail, always 7 of them. And then a slip of paper fluttering across the boardwalk one breezy afternoon, landing neatly against her shoe. In a child's handwriting it read, "Be still where you are. Someone is waiting to meet you there." Amara turned it over. Blank. She slipped it into her coat pocket without knowing why. That night, as the tide moved in and out like slow breathing, she dreamed she was walking through water that shimmered with tiny sparks of light. Each spark hummed. Not sound, exactly, but a vibration she could feel in her bones. When she woke, her heart was quiet but wide, as if someone had opened a window inside her chest. The next day, she met Elias. He was sitting on the seawall, sketching clouds in charcoal on yellowed paper. "You ever notice," he said without looking up, "how every cloud looks like it's moving toward a memory you forgot?" Amara laughed, though the words unnerved her. "You talk like one of my students used to write." He smiled faintly. "Maybe we all used to write that way." Before we got busy forgetting. They talked for an hour, about nothing, about everything. He told her he came to the bay to listen. Not to the waves, he clarified, to what's behind them, the still place. The phrase stuck to her like sea spray. That evening she wrote it down beside the note in her coat pocket. Be still where you are. The still place. In the days that followed, the coincidences began to braid themselves tighter. A book at the library, the one she accidentally pulled from the wrong shelf, opened to a passage underlined in faded blue ink. The moment you are truly still, the universe begins to speak in your native tongue. A song on the radio she hadn't heard since her wedding. A white feather appearing on the kitchen counter, though all her windows were closed. Each small event shimmered with quiet insistence, as if reality itself were leaving breadcrumbs. She started walking the shoreline at dawn when the sky was pearl-colored and the world still unspoken. Sometimes she'd see Elias in the distance, sketchbook in hand. Sometimes she'd only feel his presence, like a ripple under the surface. Then, one morning, she didn't see him. Instead, she found his sketchbook resting on the seawall, damp with mist. Inside, page after page of waves, but between them, hidden among the lines, she saw something else. Faint faces, luminous threads of light connecting them from heart to heart. On the last page he had written, "We are remembered through one another. When you are still enough, you can hear the remembering." That night the gulls gathered again, 7 of them, perfectly silent. The air shimmered faintly, or maybe her eyes were wet, she couldn't tell. She whispered into the wind, "Elias?" A pause, a breath, and then, not words, but understanding, the kind that bypasses language, the kind you feel in your pulse. "I am here, in the still place." Amara began to visit the seawall every evening, not to wait, but to listen. Some nights she felt nothing but the ache of missing. Other nights she felt as if the air were humming in harmony with her heartbeat. And then came the evening that changed everything. The tide was unusually high, licking the stone where she sat. The sun had already sunk beyond the horizon, but the light lingered. Violet, gold, and something she could only call infinite. She closed her eyes. For a long time there was only the sound of her own breathing. Then, quietly, other breaths joined, soft, layered, endless. A symphony of everyone she had ever known. When she opened her eyes, the horizon shimmered like silk, and she understood. The world was one great woven consciousness, every being a thread, every heartbeat a note. The gulls, the tides, Elias, all part of the same immense remembering. She felt herself dissolve into it, not in fear, but in recognition. I was never alone. When the feeling faded, she sat very still. The night had settled around her like a blanket. The clock at home would later read 11:11. She smiled. Years later, people still saw her by the seawall, reading or sketching, always peaceful. Sometimes she would tell strangers, "The still place isn't somewhere you go. It's what's left when you stop going." And for those who truly listened, they could feel it. The same vibration in their bones, that soft reminder that they, too, were part of something vast and luminous. Amara never called it God, or the universe, or the all-knowing. She simply called it home. Thank you for listening to The Still Place. If this story helped you slow down, breathe a little deeper, or drift a little closer to peace, remember, there are more journeys waiting for you. Each story we share is a quiet reminder that we are all connected through invisible threads of light, memory, and meaning. When we take time to listen, life begins to whisper back. To explore more calming, soul-nourishing stories like this one, crafted to help you relax, reflect, and rest deeply, visit deepbearsleep.com. Close your eyes now, and let the stillness carry you home.